Well, if you saw our last YouTube video on Coppercoat, you'll know that when I brought it out, I had a lot of hard growth, but just in one small area on the bottom. So I've just been sanding that area where the hard growth was. And I think I'm convinced now that the problem that I had where the hard growth was, right there, was caused by improper application. You know, I mean, I really didn't want it to be that. They sure seem to do such a good job. They put us in a temperature-controlled tent and everything. But as you can see here, when I sanded, and I sanded the whole area just about the same, you'll see that the color in that area where the hard growth was is different than the color where I sanded away from the hard growth. So somehow the mixture wasn't right, or the application temperature wasn't right, or something was wrong. And this is also the only place where, if you look, you see there's all kinds of blisters. Now, these are not blisters from the gel coat. They're not blisters into the hull. They're only blisters in the copper coat. When I break them open, I actually see copper under the blister and copper in the flakes that come off. So somehow the mixture wasn't correct, or something was not right. But I'm convinced now that the problem was improper application. Not everywhere, just at that one spot. Now, this is just from the straps. That was not hard growth. So I'm convinced that it was improper application of that section. They did the boat in sections, a section at a time to apply it. So that's my report on prepping the Coppercoat to go back in the water this year. After the first coat. Okay, third coat. Of the patch. Okay, so what did you do on Black Friday? Did you out shopping? Well, I didn't. We didn't. This is the fourth and final coat of the Coppercoat bottom that we applied today. We started around 9 a.m. and it's about 4:45, 5 o'clock right now. And I just finished putting on the fourth and final coat that I plan on putting on to the patch area. You can see that I went out quite a ways from the area that the original hard growth was on. So I'm, like I said, I'm almost sure that it was caused by improper mixing of the copper into the resin during its initial application. I've got to say, after doing this myself with rollers, and they specifically say do not brush, but after doing this with rollers, if I was to do it again, or if I was just starting with Coppercoat and I was going to do it, I would A, recommend do it yourself. B, make sure you get the bottom immaculately clean before you apply it. And C, I'd probably go to someplace like one of the very discount tool stores and buy one or two of their sprayers. And I would spray this on, because you can mix a quarter kit or a half a kit and put it in the pot and keep shaking the pot as you're spraying it on, and I think you'd get a much better application and there'd be no chance of not having the copper completely mixed with the resin. So that's my report for now, and we'll see when we haul out after this year's cruise how it looks and how it held up. I do intend to burnish it with Scotch-Brite before it goes in the water. So that's the end of this report.